Hello and welcome to the Tech Disruptors podcast. My name is Darren. My lovely co-host on my left or your right is
Jason.
And we've also got another semi-regular guest. It's the second week in a row with Sam from the Nomad Tech Project. How's it going, Sam?
Good, gentlemen. How are you guys?
Good. Welcome to the show. If you're discovering us for the very first time, we are the Tech Disruptors. We love to talk tech. We like to talk products, consumer tech, reviews, news, controversial stories, you name it. We are here to break down the week in tech. And I wanted to kick things off with a little bit of a bizarre story to kick things off today. I'm going to ask you this, Sam. So, Sam, I'm assuming we've talked movies, you and I, before, and some classic movies. Now, when was the last time you bought a movie on VHS?
Oh. Okay.
Fair question.
Maybe a VHS. Whew, I'd say probably late 80s. I don't remember what it would have been. Yeah, so it would have been something to the effect of...
It was Weekend at Bernie's.
No, it might have been Porky's. No.
Porky's?
No.
Nice, yeah.
No, actually, it was... I can remember it. It was at the time I was learning how to play hockey. It was Wayne Gretzky's Hockey Tips or whatever. It was just...
Nice.
I bought it I literally bought it at a shop for like $4. It was just like... Yeah, so I think that's probably the last VHS tape I actually purchased and looked at.
Sam actually was in the NHL after he watched that video. He was recruited by the Vancouver Canucks.
Right.
Yeah. So, what about you, Jason? When was the last time you purchased a VHS tape?
I remember I was big into surround sound. And I remember when the Hi-Fi VCRs came out with the red and white RCAs, before like your fiber optic. I would say probably had to be in the 90s. I mean, I know the DVD was, 96, 97? So probably...
Yeah, give or take, yeah.
Early 90s. What that was, God, I couldn't even tell you. Probably Jurassic Park or something prior to that. I don't know.
I love it. So I wanted to start with this. So you may have heard of this movie that came out just recently in the movie theater, Alien Romulus, which is a prequel, I believe, to the Alien series. I may have that wrong. Forgive me. I don't know my movie knowledge, but...
Yeah.
So Alien Romulus, really, I saw the movie in the movie theaters, phenomenal sci-fi, horror, action movie, whatever you want to call it. But it's getting a VHS limited edition release. Now, listen, I love this idea. I know you're probably thinking I'm crazy. I'd have to dig out my VHS player, which is probably dusty in the basement somewhere. However... part of the reason that they're releasing this on VHS is because if you remember the original Alien movies were like, I think the late 70s, early 80s. So that would have been a VHS movie release following its release in the movie theater. So they're kind of following suit and kind of playing into the whole prequel idea. Like the idea that, the original Alien movie with Sigourney Weaver was released on VHS. So this is a prequel. So why don't we release it on VHS as well? Now, I don't hate this idea. Now, let me give an example of where we've seen this previously, right? So one of the things that popped up in recent times is people buying records. And the resurgence of people buying, records on a record player of their favorite bands and artists has become extremely popular now. And so much so that record shops are opening up.
But isn't the argument that vinyl to some people sounds better than digital media? Whereas VHS is definitely not as high quality.
No, okay. Now hang on. I know what you're going to say.
I know, but there's a unique look to VHS. And my take on this is, I think it's amazing, but it's more of a collector's item. Like you're
100%.
Like when I like my favorite band, I'll go buy their, digital download, but they'll have a package where they'll get a book and a vinyl. And I have a record player. I don't listen to it that much, but I have the ability. But more of it's just like, hey, I want to collect this. I appreciate this band. I want to support this band, so I'm going 100%. To purchase what that is. So,
and look, I mean, personally, I think. I don't know, I think back to like I'm an 80s baby, so like I was an early 80s baby, but I think back to like the late 80s, early 90s when I was watching these, classic horror movies like Alien, sci-fi horror on VHS. And like Jason said, there's a certain look There's a certain style to it, so I dig it. I dig the idea. I think it's a great idea for a release of a modern day movie back on a classic format. And if you are a collector, and let's say you had all of the Alien movies on VHS, maybe this is the play. Maybe this is the one to go for, right?
I've never owned an Alien movie.
The vinyl of movies. Is that what we're doing now?
That's
Laserdisc. That's
Laserdisc. Yeah.
Well, all of 4 people had one. Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah.
So again, interesting story. I caught it today, and I was like, man, that's an amazing idea. Love the concept. Now
they need Daredevil. Sorry, Wolverine.
Yes, and Deadpool on VHS.
Yeah. On VHS. Now that would be.
Speak up.
I'm sure X-Men was on VHS at some point.
Or Guardians of the Galaxy because he's got the cassette deck. You know.
Yes.
They should release.
Bring back the Zune player.
Right.
The Zune with the soundtrack on it.
They should replicate a Zune and just put the soundtrack on. That's the only thing.
That's the only thing you need.
Maybe a 4-program 8-track DVD. Cooler.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I kind of wish I could find a Zune. I know the Zunes are hard to find. Like maybe on secondhand marketplace.
Oh, eBay has them all over the place.
Yeah,
you'll probably pay too much.
I'd love to have one of those, just as a collector's item on the wall. You know.
Look, as someone who buys extinct tech, sometimes it's cool at first. Like I bought that prototype Essential Con 2. It's so cool. It turns on. You can't do anything. You can put a SIM card in it, you can make phone calls, but you can't put Google Play on it. You can't do anything with it. So.
And Jason tried. Believe us, he tried.
I did try.
Okay, so we're gonna just pivot out of the tech stuff for just a second, and we're gonna talk a little bit about a viral story that happened over the last couple of days. So. Before I bring in Ace, Ace has been a regular guest on our podcast in the past. We've had him on a few times. He's a decent guy. Haven't had any issues with him. We know if you follow him on X or social media, he's a very opinionated guy, and rightly so. And that's okay. We appreciate honesty and respect, and we appreciate that on a show called The Tech Disruptors, which is us essentially calling out companies for doing stupid shit. So a big story that blew up this week on X was regarding Ace. And I'm going to bring Ace in so he can explain it himself. And we're going to try to unpack the story here. And I'll just kind of... I don't think he's in his little studio.
He jumped out.
He was. I think he ducked out of his studio, but he might be just popping. There he goes. Okay, we're going to bring him back in. And here is the man. How's it going, Ace?
Well, it's nice to be in color. It was black and white there for a while.
Yeah, sorry, we're just getting the show underway. We're actually in the green room there, buddy. But, okay, so, Ace, we're going to let you explain in your own words.
Well, first things last. And I want to start off by saying a few things, and this might be a little upsetting for some people. First off, Adam J. Matlock, that Tech Odyssey guy, he's a fat-headed prick with no honor and no respect, so fuck him, number one. Number two, Android Digest, he's a fucking little pathetic rat. No respect, no honor. He's a piece of trash as a man. Now, with all that being said, I want to just get to the point. I have used every tool available to me in the YouTube creator studio to get some views, to get some engagement, so on and so forth. You guys might remember a while back that I ended up being demonetized. And I got demonetized back in November.
Okay.
It took me 6 months to climb out of that hole, but I did. And the way I climbed out of that hole is I was able to use all of the tools available to me in the YouTube Creator Studio.
Okay.
For the first time in my life, I'm basically playing by the rules, right? So when I announced my 100,000 subscriber milestone, I was actually stunned to see so-called tech reviewers come at me the way they did. I was like, are you people nuts? This tool is available to you all too. And it's not buying subs. What happens is you put a certain amount of money in, however money you have available, how much money you have available. And what it does, and you can choose the countries, right? You can choose the United States, and you can choose all the countries. Iraq, who cares, right? Check this out though. What YouTube does is they put your videos out there to these people. And if they like you, guess what they do? They subscribe. And in your analytics, you can actually see how many people are actually looking, how many impressions and views. Now, it's just the same as you guys, right? For example, more than likely only 3 or 5% of people are your subscriber. Your viewers are your subscribers. Same thing with this little promotion, right? YouTube might show my videos to 100,000 people, but maybe, just maybe, 500 of those people are subscribing. You're not buying subscribers. It's all inside of the YouTube terms of service. I even have a YouTube's ad manager because I'm playing on a higher level. I'm not playing on a small level. I don't give a damn about organic engagement, okay? I don't play those games. Do you think Apple, Google, Samsung, or any major corporation does? They do not.
Okay.
So anyway, that's what I got to say about that. Any response, anything?
Yeah. Sure. Okay. So I think from my perception, and I apologize because I caught a lot of this secondhand. I was sick most of the week, but I caught this kind of after the fact. But I think one of the issues that people generally had a concern about was you appeared to jump from kind of small numbers to big numbers dramatically, right? And I think that happened.
That's right. And do you guys want to know why I did? Because I have a dramatic amount of money. See, I'm not bragging about money. I'm not that kind of guy. I do a lot of charity work. I'm also a VFW commander, so I dedicate tons of my time to the community, to disabled veterans. But I also have like 4 income streams, right? Okay. I kind of have a dramatic amount of money. I'm not like a billionaire or nothing, but I have the money. I have extra money. If I want to put $10,000 on one video, I can. And so if anyone wants to get mad at that, I don't give a damn, because number one, people are failing because they choose to fail. Everyone is exactly where they deserve to be in life. If they're not applying themselves, it's their own fault. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. No, so I think, and again, part of the reason we wanted to get you on, Ace, is, again, we want to kind of break it down. We want to kind of get to the bottom of it. Now, again...
just real quick, I'm sorry. We have got to the bottom of it, but I want to say something. Hold on. Yeah. For the majority, I think most of the people, from what I've seen this weekend, the majority in the so-called tech community, because there's not really a tech community. There's millions of people making tech videos, but there's only like 100 or so that are in this little bubble, and it's my fault for even communicating with these people. For the most part, they're a bunch of rat, coward bastards.
Okay.
And it's just the truth, because you never see me. You never see me talking trash about successful people. You never see a successful person talking down to somebody on the come up. You only see people on the bottom talking trash about people who are on the come up.
You just talk trash about like 4 or 5 people.
I don't give a fuck.
Okay,
fuck you too. You need to understand that. People came at me talking shit.
And he's done. I'm not listening to his bullshit anymore.
Holy crap. What was that?
He can go off. He's talking absolute nonsense. He's just saying, I'm not calling out successful people. He just called out successful creators on this platform. You heard it.
Hold on. I'm okay with him speaking his piece. From what he said at the beginning, he made sense. He went to the promote. He promoted stuff.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, he's getting angry. He kept interrupting you, telling you, F you, F you, F you.
Yeah.
All I want to do is, I want to speak up and say, look, your point of view is 100% valid. What he said was 100% valid.
Yeah.
But the flip side of that is there's people on the other side that have another opinion. Everyone's going to have an opinion. It's like politics. You're not going to make everyone happy. You didn't have to come in here and start belittling every single solitary person.
Exactly.
That called you out.
Whether
it's true or not.
Listen, for those of you who are listening right now, we brought in Ace because we wanted to hear his side of the story, like a good podcast would, like good tech people would. And I'm sorry, but if he's not going to let us talk, if he's not going to let us ask questions, and he's going to start saying one thing and doing another, we're going to kick him out every single time. And I'll do that.
I'm not going to belittle. I never came to that point where I called people's names. I said, you just did. He goes, fuck you too.
Yeah, exactly. He said he called you out, and I'm sorry, as your co-host, I'm not going to stand and have him
it's not just
belittle us.
Look, we reached out, we made a thumbnail, we poked the bear. In all respect, we did. But I didn't poke the bear because I wanted him to come on here and scream at us and call us names.
No, 100%. Look, again.
Well, hold on.
Sam,
what you've been kind of quiet. I know you don't want to say a whole lot. I know you don't want to poke any bear either. What are your thoughts on all this?
Well, first of all, I've never had an issue with Ace. He was on the show a couple times, and I listened to him, and I know where he's. But I guess, yeah. I mean, I understand he's defensive, and again, the tool is available for him. The tools are available for everybody, right? So again, I didn't really know how any of that works because I'm not a YouTuber and or I guess in this tech community, right? I'm just a podcaster, right? And I just happen to be on YouTube because that's how we like live stream the show, right? So I'm kind of a different thing. The only issue I would take with that is where he says well, you only get he hard work and didn't get it, and it's like, well, some people choose to not, like, I'm not trying to monetize what I do. Like, I've made it very clear that really, honestly, the podcast that me and Joe do, it's literally just because my wife can't stand me listening. She's tired of listening to me talk about tech and phones and stuff like that. So, and because when I found out how real easy it was to do, that's the kind of stuff. But I'm not a successful podcaster because I'm not because that's what I deserve. It's what I choose. Yeah. That's the lane I choose to swim in. And that's okay. Yeah. And that's okay. And the lane that Ace is choosing to swim in is somebody who is politically engaged, who definitely has a different income stream. It's all good. Like, so, that's no, the profanity and calling, basically the FU. Yeah, that's a little, I wouldn't do that to people I don't know. Personally, I don't even do it to people I know personally. So that's a little out of bounds, but I understand he's upset. Again, I that's the only thing. Is I'm glad he explained it because I actually didn't know anything about how that worked, and I 100% don't disagree with him. I think if the tool's available and you let it go, I mean, it's fine. Again, whatever. Clearly, his motivation is not the same as mine. Fine, and that's fine. And he chooses to run his platform and communicate the way he does, and that's fine too. And I get that. So my only take with that was I don't know if I would say it's what you deserve. For some people it is, right? But I'm not complaining that I'm not successful. And I think that's where he gets I think that's where a lot of people that I've heard that kind of speak like that say, well, it's because that's what you deserve. I said, yeah, because you put in bad effort, you do a bunch of crappy stuff in your life, and then you want to complain about the fact that life's putting upon you.
Sam, you brought up a good point.
That is something I agree with him on. Yeah.
Because you said I don't want to be monetized. I enjoy it. I said the same thing. Yes, I have a channel, but I'm not looking to make tons of money. No. I just enjoy talking tech, and that's the whole point. Everyone there's two sides to every story, and we at Tech Disruptors we want to talk about explosive rumor things on tech and social media. Sometimes it wasn't we didn't want him on the show so that we could belittle him. I wanted to actually say, look, I totally get where you're coming from, but this is why people were mad. Yeah, it got to the point where he just started dropping F-bombs. And again,
I'm sorry, I'm not going to stand for that kind of stuff. And again, listen, I understand that the tools are there. I understand that you can use them on YouTube. I completely appreciate that aspect and that side of this.
I use it on my OnlyFans all the time. I promote them all the time.
I know, and Jason has millions of OnlyFans fans. But my point is, isn't it like, I brought this up just before the show started. For me as a creator, and I work my ass off, and I don't have a YouTube channel. I'm a writer. Always have been a writer. But what I'm getting at is those people who like burn the midnight oil and work hard to pump out video after video after video a week, they're not paying thousands of dollars to use these tools because they probably don't have thousands of dollars. So any growth that they get is an organic growth that someone found them and went, I like what you're doing. Let's bring this in. So one of the, oh, hey, Mike, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, brother?
Just give us 1 second, Mike.
No, finish your thoughts, bro. You should finish your thoughts. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that I appreciate and respect creators who are organically growing their channel through getting people to find them through good old-fashioned hard work. When I'm sorry, but you using these YouTube tools, and I understand that that's what they're there for, but people that don't have the money to do that are at a disadvantage. So part of the issue I have is I understand what he's saying, I understand what he's doing, but I don't agree with the process or the platform, if that makes sense. Mike, what were you going to say, buddy? Thanks for joining us, bud.
Hey, by the way, before you talk, that video you made was really good. Like, that's why I wanted you on, because you kind of pointed out both sides, and that was the whole point of today.
I know Ace. I know Ace pretty well in real life.
Okay.
He's an interesting character, but I like Ace. He's got a good heart. He's a good dude. I think he gets a bad rap because just like a lot of people in the tech space, people get in their own headspace sometimes, you know, and we all internalize something, you know, differently. We take it differently. Yeah. I'm from a hard background. I'm from military, fire, deaf, no dad. Like I have all the excuses in the world to be a total asshole. I turn that into doing stand-up comedy. That's what I mostly do nowadays that I'm retired. Yeah. So like I troll, I do comedy, I try to keep it light. The line for me is always I don't personally attack people. So like concepts, politics, you know, you've seen my ex, like I'll go in. But the thing I try not to do, unless it's a public figure, I try to never make it a personal thing, especially in our community, because I'm tech first, right?
Yeah. Right.
And so when I saw what was going on and I spoke to Ace about it, I saw the attacks and I see both sides of it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna come in because usually I have the perspective and I can articulate things in a kind of neutral way where people know my only agenda is to try to make you laugh. My only agenda is to try to like, hey, let's all have fun with this. Nothing's that serious. It's the internet, and try to dial down the volume when I feel like somebody's being personally attacked. So that was like my original purpose of doing the video. But I applaud you guys for bringing him on. You called him out. He answered a call. So props to him for showing up, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because how many people would have run and hide?
Oh, absolutely. For sure. Yeah, 100%. So, and I appreciate that. Yeah.
I agree. You can't go on and mother F everybody and yell down your host necessarily. I already messaged them that. But so I get it. I would have liked to hear him out. I would have liked maybe mute him or what, you know, that's just me though. Yeah. I do think we all have it's your show. Run your show how you want to run your show, brother. Yeah. I'm not shitting on that. My whole point was at the end of the day, there was two main points to this whole ordeal. And at first thought, it's simply this. If you watch my video, you know what I'm talking about, but I'll just rehash for people that are hearing this later.
Yeah.
The two main points are this. YouTube at its core is responsible for this even taking place.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The reason is in the old days, most of us old school, anybody that's been on YouTube more than freaking 3 years knows you had to earn every sub. You had to earn every view. Yes. And you had to grind, and it sucks because it's hard. And if you've spent, I don't care if you're a casual YouTuber, this game is not easy, bro. No, there's a reason I have 7 channels and 6 of them are not monetized. Like it's literally a grind. If you don't commit to it, if it's not a passion project or like an orchestrated team effort to monetize, you're not going to do it. And even if you do, you're not going to make anything worth the time spent to do so, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that being said, anybody that's been on YouTube more than 3 years, there's a 2-part process to that. One, they don't necessarily know what the new tools that YouTube has rolled out. And it's YouTube's fault because in the old days, you would buy Chinese bots. You'd go to some surreptitious random website and be like, yo, I need 10,000 views because I'm trying to get monetized or whatever the situation was, right? So on one hand, people are like, bro, you're just buying shitty bots or whatever, right? And to me, that's offensive because I earned my following. So you're offended as a real creator.
Yeah.
So that part, you can't be mad at somebody by utilizing that tool for it. Now, the second part of that is that's just, I don't want to call it ignorance because that sounds like you're stupid, but you just don't know how they're changing the game. So I have friends at major, I won't put anybody on blast, major channel promoter, marketing people. I have multiple million, 200, 100, 400,000 people that make their livings from YouTube.
Yeah.
And they talk to me every day. They share their analytics, thoughts, insights. And even though I don't do it as a living, I'm aware of it and I know what's going on with it. So I try to like drop clues.
Yeah.
And so the 2 parts of this were simply, there's an old school way that's like, hey, this is offensive. We earned our way. And then there's a new school of, this is a tool available. Now it's YouTube's fault because they said, hey, China, and I'm not shitting on China because someone's like, oh, you're xenophobic or racist. Or, I'm just using an example because it's India, it's a lot of places, right? But like chop shops that pump you full of views and whatever. That's all. I'm not crapping on anybody's culture. So just to be clear. But But predominantly that's what it is. YouTube's like, dang, we could make an extra $1 billion a year if aspiring creators want to see their numbers go up.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? We'll give you numbers. You want to pay for numbers? That pays better than AdSense. Oh, by the way, we don't even have to pay the AdSense out. So we're going to get AdSense from the watch, and the creator themselves going to pay it. Like,
I know. Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, you made a good point too, and Ace said it too before we cut him off. You can pick the country, so you can pick a country.
I showed in my video exactly how to do it.
Yeah.
So my whole point is this. My take on it is this. Overall, the net sum of this is bad. The net sum is bad. And the reason is, and again, I spoke to guys that make 100, 200, 300,000 a year, verified, today and yesterday, that are my personal friends. They make hundreds of thousands of dollars from this business. The problem is this, and you're right, it's YouTube, and YouTube is the problem here.
Yeah.
But if I can create a channel out of nowhere from some third world country with 1 million subs. 50,000. If let's say I make good money, I could put $5,000 a month on it. That will get you 6 figures a month. It will. Yeah. And if you do that, now you go look at I don't know if I should say channel names, but quality creators, let's say, and their 150,000 subs don't look that amazing anymore. If you are the sponsoring company, if you are the brand that wants to reach social media, and now, so the net result is, why am I going to give you this CPM? Why am I going to give you $25 per 1,000 views on this? Why am I going to give you this affiliate deal? Now, there is one safeguard, and I'll say is Patrick, Pat, he's a good dude. I was talking to him about, he's like, well, the only fail-safe is when you get real deep and you do big money, they don't just want to see your views and your subs. They want to see every analytic page. They always drop. So they're like, where is it from? What's the demographic? What's the target age group? What's your close ratio when you do affiliate for Samsung or Apple or whatever your affiliate that you're dropping? And they verify that. So that's the only fail-safe. But at some point here, I feel like it's going to get too blurred and too saturated. And ultimately, anybody that has an endeavor to do social media, specifically YouTube, as a career is going to be disheartened to find that their value is lowered because of this practice.
Yeah.
So I don't think we should personally, TLDR, don't personally attack Ace.
Yeah.
He came off hard with it because whatever his own reasons are, it doesn't matter. But the thing is, we all knew. Right. The one thing I don't think a lot of people did know was that he wasn't doing the third-party bot. He did not do that. This was all valid. He's not getting canceled. YouTube blessed this.
Yeah.
So blame YouTube if you think it's stupid. Don't blame Ace Lucero.
And I
want to make that clear.
Yeah, and I made that comment to them. I mean, I said earlier, I said, hey, look, before I'm going at anybody, I need to know, 1, is it above board? 2, what's really the motivation? And 3, I want that person to explain it to themselves. Like, and he doesn't owe me any validation at all. I am nobody to him. I mean, I'm just a dude in the world, right?
But that's why you give credit for him showing up.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
You're coming in.
Did he come off the wrong way? But yeah, that dude's been. You got to think. I personally seen 80 to 100 personal attacks on him. In the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
So unfortunately for you guys, I think as the days progress, it'll balance out, and some apologies may be made. I don't know, but I would hope. But at the end of the day, you got to think, if you've just been nothing but trashed in your mind,
you're
for the whole world.
Yeah,
I'm coming in swinging, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, even if I'm wrong, I will die on my freaking wrong hill. Like, after 100 of you shit on me for 2 days, like, that's all. So that was my whole point. I just wanted people to be aware. Hey, this guy wasn't doing the shady crap that has happened in the past. Because I do understand there's a large segment of our community that doesn't understand it.
Yep.
So I wanted to bring awareness to that. If you guys don't like this, tell Renee, tell whoever, whoever on X that does that, give them the feedback. This sucks. Yeah. And again, I've talked to people at the big ones that sell how to build your channel. Guys, like, you would know who I'm talking about. personally texting them, and they're like, dude, we saw this months ago. We saw this a year ago, and we were just waiting for something visible to blow up like this, and we hope it changes.
Yeah.
They all, because again, like I said, the net sum of this, who cares if a guy has 10 billion if we all know it's in India? You know what? Like, whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt your day. It doesn't hurt your family.
So
the thing that hurts you as a creator is devaluing the entire space overall. That's what hurts everybody.
I think why he's in the hot seat, though, is he posted it publicly on X, and people started digging through his analytics. I think that might be part of it. Which, again, right or wrong, that's social media.
I did the same thing.
Yeah, but if you're on social media, you got to be aware. Like, if I remember this, Darren, maybe Mike doesn't, but a couple of years ago, I posted a picture of my daughter jumping with a camera that caught action, and she had a face mask on, and it was past the COVID thing. She chooses to wear. Someone called me out, called me a Nazi because my daughter's wearing a mask. I'm like, but that's social media. You know, you post something.
You know how many times a day? I do comedy. So here's the funny thing. It's just a quick side story. I literally have blood family in Palestine and in Israel right now. Okay. Like actually right now. It's just to give you an example.
Yeah.
And so when I speak on these things, I joke, I shit on both sides because they're literally, I have people in harm's way everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's funny how many times a day I get called Nazi. My kids have Israeli passports. Like, it's so like, just, when I look at the internet, dude, I just, it is what it is, bro. It's like,
and that's what Ace, like, I get it. He's being attacked and he's getting.
You don't know who you're talking to.
But he's hurt. Ace is hurt, and I get it. But this platform wasn't for him to come out and start saying, "Hey, Adam, F you. Hey, Andrew Digest."
Which Adam is one of my best friends, so I'm actually, when I get off this,
we've had Adam on a few times.
Yeah.
Adam's literally, so like we were both Air Force together. Like we have so much in common. Oh, okay. He's one of my boys. So, and Ace and me are cool. He's come to Vegas. We've hung out. Like, so it's a conflict. I'm gonna mediate that the best I can.
Yeah.
Because Adam, I always have this thing where, I don't care how hostile you are, I have my way of doing things.
Yeah. Microwave.
So I'm hoping I can mitigate that and fix that, because that one in particular bothered me. But he knows. He'll be in. Yeah. I'll call him after this. But all I wanted to say was, I don't think Ace, he told me he was going on the show. I said, do it. And I said, here's the thing. Don't back down. Explain your position.
Yeah.
Like, don't apologize. Because I wanted him to explain the stuff that I did. The problem was he was so upset he didn't get to articulate it.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to jump on. I'm not saying exonerate him for shitting on the way he came out, like Suge Knight in the first 2 minutes there.
Suge Knight.
He was like hanging white boys off the balcony and stuff. But I'm just saying, but I understand it. Like, it's one of those things where you're like, hey, my bad, dude, I was fucking pissed. Like,
look, Mike, it's like, we've had Ace on the show a bunch of times, and he's one of the quote unquote founding fathers of all of our podcasts. He was on there at the very beginning.
He is a good dude in real life.
Yeah, and part of the reason I invited him out was to get his point of view. And look, listen, the biggest, like you said, he came out hot, and we kind of expected that. I didn't expect him to maybe come out as hot as he did.
He had him drop the Tupac "Hit 'Em Up" diss track.
Yeah, so
100%. Yes, he did. Yeah.
Look, I think at the end of the day, despite what your opinions are, again, if the tools are there and they're available to you, use them. Don't shit on somebody for trying to boost and build their channel. Again, maybe lay off the pressure on Ace. If you're on X right now, maybe just kind of, forget about what happened and move on.
Look at both sides.
And look at both sides. That's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
That's all I wanted to do. I saw too many. And again, like I said, if we want to talk in generalities, which we often do in tech, when we know when someone's subtweeting, right? Like we always do. We know if they're talking about Marquez. We know when they're talking about iJustice. We know. And even on a smaller level, even Adam, Pat, anybody, we know when somebody does something, Alex, with that stuff that happened last year, like we know right away what if we follow, because we're in this community. Even those of us that don't like each other, I don't have a problem with anybody. People block me because they don't like my flavor. That's fine. But in this community, we just need to be cognizant of not making it a personal attack. Let's demonize behaviors, platforms, whatever, but let's not demonize individuals, because now it's just going to end up a shit show. That's all.
Right.
That's all I wanted to happen.
Exactly, and look, we all know, and we've talked about this before on this show. You know, anytime you're on social media, always take everything that people say with a grain of salt. I mean, sometimes you do just get shit stirrers. You get people who want to just cause chaos and ruffle feathers, right? Like, we get it. Like, we get that ourselves, right? Like, yeah.
It tracks.
That's literally my job.
That tracks. Okay.
So, look, we're going to leave this subject here for now. Again,
no, that's fine. Appreciate you letting me say my piece. I just wanted to.
Yeah, for sure.
Mike,
I basically wanted to tie up the end of this conversation I think Ace would have gotten to.
Yeah. Perfect,
because we
Mike.
had talked to it without it being unsaid. That's all I wanted.
Yeah, we appreciate
Mike,
that.
you're a legend, buddy. We appreciate you being on, and we're going to get you on another time, buddy, where we can talk everything
whenever.
else, man.
Send me a link.
Appreciate you. Sounds
all right,
good,
brother.
man. Thanks for coming
on. Be safe.
Peace,
Love you guys. Later.
Thanks, bud. All right, and moving on to more pleasant goings-on in the world today. So, Sam,
do not talk about the Nothing Phone 2A.
No, I won't. But Sam, I actually handpicked a story just for you today. I was doing my research, and I'm like, I know that Sam's going to appreciate this. All right, so now this story itself might not necessarily be great news, but Amazon released their new Kindle line this week. And one of the ones they released is their very first color Kindle, which is called, I believe, the Color Soft. Forgive me if I got that name wrong. Now, Sam, I'm going to give you a guess here. Whose brainchild was the Kindle Color Soft?
Panos.
Yes, it was.
Really?
It was duo creator Panos Panay coming in hot with his very own Kindle Color Soft Edition, which is a 7-inch color Amazon Kindle e-reader.
It's an e-ink screen, right?
It's an e-ink screen, color e-ink screen. But this is a Panos Panay exclusive. And this is actually, I got him right here, showing it off right
Can
there.
I ask a question?
You know what's funny?
So
Do me a favor. Look at that picture. Take the Kindle out of his hand and put a Duo or a Neo in his hand. It's the same thing.
Now hold on, Sam. There's been some rumors that Microsoft is working on another foldable.
Oh.
Well, maybe. Sure. Well, here's the thing. So, full disclosure, I follow Panos Panay on Twix and Instagram. I'm a huge fan. I like him. I've never met the man.
Yeah.
I'd like to. He's pretty seems like a pretty cool dude. With some great ideas, I think, honestly. And so I saw this. I saw the picture of him. Actually, I think I saw this image or whatever. So I kind of knew without knowing what the product was. But I think it's a great. I mean, it's kind of cool, right? I mean, that's the kind of the knock on the Kindle line. It gives it a little bit of color. You don't. You're not really. And it throws a little bit more of I guess a personal and kind of like a artistic touch to an e-reader, which really honestly aren't the sexiest things in the world, right? A lot of people use them at the beach and the pool and stuff. Yeah. But this kind of just gives it, it's not super colorful, but it's just, it's done tastefully. I like it.
Graphic novels.
Yeah.
It adds another layer of depth. It's not just black and white. I think that's cool.
Yeah. And you don't have to get crazy with the specs, or you don't have to get crazy with, all this, technology. It's just kind of like gives a little bit of color and a little bit of, like you said, just get a little bit more immersion and not having to really, ratchet up the pocketbook. You have to go into some display tech and stuff like that.
This has been all over the news too.
That's nice. Well, people, Kindles and Nooks, I'm telling you, you'd be surprised how many people use these things.
Yeah.
Lots of people use these things, especially older people who don't want to carry books. My mother-in-law has a book, and then my wife has a Nook. And anytime a book comes in, she tells her, "Hey, a new book comes in," and my wife grabs it, and for a day and a half, I don't see my wife because she's all about the reading when she gets in. Yeah, this is great.
It's not a tablet. It's not a phone. It's gonna have good battery life. It's made for reading.
Yep.
You can get a foldable and you can read a book on it, but it's a full-fledged smartphone where you're gonna kill your battery by leaving it on, swiping. This is something ideal. As a person who used to, I don't read comics anymore, but back in the day, I used to collect those things, and being able to have your collection. Granted, it won't be worth as much money, but to be able to read those on a portable device is amazing, in my opinion.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I saw this and I thought, you know what? I love that he is now working with Amazon because, and I this is how I saw this playing out. The ill-fated Amazon Fire Phone may be in the distant mind of some people, but with Panos there and the technology of like a e-ink screen and maybe some of their mobile teams still floating around, I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised if they had another crack at it.
Ooh, I don't know.
I don't know. Why not?
I have a question. When the Fire Phone came out, I bought it. Came with a free year of Prime. Then they got like fire sailed. You could buy them for $100. So I bought like 6 of them for $100. Got 6 years of Prime member. Then sold all 6 phones for like the same price. So pretty much got 6 years of Prime for like free.
So you basically goose the system. That's nice.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I will say this. The phone really wasn't that bad. The big thing was lack of Google, you know?
Right.
Yes.
I'd be interested to see if you bought one of these on eBay right now.
And remember, that's what killed the Windows. Like it's all about the availability of apps in a Play Store, right? A functional,
developers,
usable, developer engaging app store, right? And I think that, but yeah, I mean, here's the thing though, if Microsoft did come up with any kind of a mobile phone, I wouldn't buy it ever again. After Windows Phone and the Duo, I'm kind of done with Microsoft and the mobile.
Yeah, they were peak Windows Phone.
That's it, and I'm done with it. I can't do it a third time. I'm sorry. Just as much as the Fire Phone, if they can come out with it and make it competitive and it gives you an option and they can somehow get other Play Stores or apps and it's affordable. But the problem they're going to run into is, you get a lot of affordability at the $299, $399.
Yeah, now
Nothing Phone 2A, Google.
Yeah.
Right now with the Fire Phone, remember back then there weren't a lot of low end options that were kind of decent. If you didn't spend $800, you were kind of getting a whole bag of trash, right? Now,
here we go. So here's my pitch, right? Nothing Phone, Fire Edition, black and red neon lights, colorway, a combination between Nothing and Amazon. The Nothing Phone Fire Edition.
I don't know if
saying.
Well, it'd be a good way to get into an American market and get a whole bunch of engagement from American buyers.
Yep.
And I miss the old. And somebody made a comment. I didn't catch the person on Twix who did it.
Yeah.
Somebody said, "Folks, can we bring back the fun stuff? Right? The Transformers version of the Note 7. Can we bring back this and all these cool? Like, I love that stuff. I know they're really big in Asia and stuff. And but I would think." Can you imagine having, like, especially for Jason and I are sports fanatics, can you imagine having a phone where you had either
team branded?
Dude, a team branded phone?
Yeah.
It would be kind of cool.
Sam, you brought this up before. Like, if you can't get like carrier deals, like I know that regional, like AT&T in Cleveland, I don't think selling 50,000 phones in Cleveland for the Browns is really going to make a huge impact. I think I see what you're saying. I'd love to have a sports themed.
Absolutely, yeah.
Or just anything. I'm just using sports, but just like I liked having some options where like the OnePlus phones had, different versions that were either anime based or, the McLaren one, if you're into racing or F1, that was kind of cool, right?
Remember the ESPN phone?
Yes, I do remember the ESPN phone. Had the ringtone. Yeah. No, but it's funny that you say that because you just spawned in my memory. I was reading an article today. Someone wrote an article about how they were using a Samsung Note 10 Star Wars edition phone in 2024. Yeah. And the whole premise of the article was that it's working perfectly fine. Like it's as good as you could want it to be.
And it's one of one.
And it's one of one. Yeah. Right. So... I mean, I think bring it back. I mean, I know we're seeing it more and more in the Chinese market. Like they've got like the Genshin Impact phone, and they've got like those designs, but they're more of like a mid-range shits and giggles kind of thing.
And all that stuff is from a different culture. Like I'm not a Genshin Impact guy. I know it's big here, but like anime. I mean, there's anime fans everywhere. I just think something more localized to what here, at least in the U.S., like something more familiar to us.
Well, I mean, my daughter for a while wanted. Remember, well, you probably don't, but because you guys are grown adult males and not a kid, young woman. But BTS had a BTS branded Note. It was like a purple, had BTS branding on it. My daughter wanted that phone so bad, and at that point, well, and here's the thing. Here's the point. She would be willing to give up her iPhone to have a BTS Samsung phone.
Yes,
really?
Absolutely.
Oh, dude, at that time,
hold on,
not so much anymore. She's kind of moved away. She's 23.
Was really that big at one point? I didn't think they were that big in the US.
Yeah, they were.
Dude, K-pop wise, I mean, all that stuff. Stray Kids, I mean, I had to suffer through all that stuff, and it wasn't bad. Some of the songs are pretty catchy, but they had it was a purple phone. Actually, the colorway was kind of cool, even if you didn't like BTS. But it was like they're trying to sell the phone. There's pictures, and it came with cards of the band holding the phone. And dude, I'm telling you, girls that were into K-pop and stuff like that, I can guarantee you might not have got millions, but you might have got tens of thousands of them, and that was pretty cool. And I know if a girl would have walked to school had a BTS branded Samsung, that would have got a lot of attention from a lot of the girls in her fan or.
What I'm hearing is Sam's a big BTS fan, and he has this phone right now.
I wish I did. I wish I did because it's kind of cool. Like I'd like to keep it, but I mean, no. I mean, I honestly thought they were pretty good. But yeah, some of these like Harry Potter editions. They have a Genshin Impact one. They have an Iron Man version. Look at one. It's red.
Coca-Cola phone.
Yeah, there's a Coke phone, Disney. Dude, it's like, and they had a Transformers one that had different kinds of.
That was the Red Magic.
Yeah,
dude, that's amazing looking.
And I'm not saying that this is obviously not the ones you're going to sell at AT&T store, but for people who are big fans of Harry Potter or what's the other thing with the TARDIS? I don't know, the Doctor Who. Can you imagine a Doctor Who? Dude, it looks like a TARDIS and it's blue and dude, and it makes the TARDIS noises and the dot. Dude, you tell me people wouldn't buy that? You're crazy.
Well, and the thing about these special phones is people think, oh, it's just a
dude, that's cool, man.
It's not just a
like that one there, the Transformers 8 Pro Red Magic.
And I'm not even into Transformers, and that's cool.
Yeah, they have a yellow one with
the
Bumblebee. Yeah, they had the Decepticon one. That would be cool. Like a shockwave.
Well,
it almost looks like a radio, right? Make a shockwave.
Like it's made for unboxing. Like they have a huge box. It comes in with pictures
cards and like a little challenge coin and all sorts of crazy.
A cool SIM ejector tool.
Dude, that's
the Bumblebee one is nice.
That thing is cool.
That's ball.
Yeah.
And tell me you couldn't flex on that. And you have
absolutely.
If you're standing at a coffee shop or if you're standing out with friends and anybody who knows anything about movies and you don't think that that's a conversation starter? Hell, I use this damn thing and people wouldn't stop bugging me about it until I stopped using the darn thing.
Yeah.
But that's cool. The Bumblebee.
But they do exist. They're just, again, it's one of those kind of like very niche kind of, let's see. I mean, they even got like the Disney Strawberry Bear edition of like the Xiaomi Civi 3. There's a Lamborghini limited edition one. I'll show you this
HMD
one.
did Barbie.
Yeah.
Because of the movie, obviously. But yeah.
You know, Lamborghini edition with the branding and the logo.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
was it
Huawei?
That
exists, right?
Who does the Ferrari?
The Porsche RS.
A Porsche.
Porsche RS. That's Huawei.
Yeah. So
if you want to spend $7,000 on a phone, that's cool.
Be my guest. Yeah.
If I'm paying $7,000. I'm buying that Huawei triple folding phone.
Oh man.
Now, speaking of tech that's pushing boundaries, I wanted to a couple of things caught my fingers. So you know we've been talking about AI and robots a lot on this channel. So I'm going to ask you both a quick question. You get a one-sentence answer, and that's it. What's the one thing you would have to add to an AI robot, like on a 2 feet, like Terminator style, that would make you concerned? Like, what would be the one make you concerned? Like, fear for your life. What would be the one thing that they could add to a robot that would make you fearful? And legitimately fearful. Like, shit, I'm in trouble. Sam?
I guess it would be, like, if the face helmet guard face thing was, like a satanic or like a real dark, like sinister looking face.
Like
dude, because I'm sorry. Or just not even that, but just like, you know, what I have like almost like these kabuki theater kind of like really freaky. Yeah. Like, can you imagine like, hey, can you give me my shoes? And it goes and then it's got that, there's a guy on TikTok, it's got that like that guy. Dude, can you imagine that thing coming around the corner and handing your shoe like, get the hell away from me, dude?
Yeah.
Just put the shoes down and go all the way the hell over there. Dude, you're freaking me out. I just want to
what I would love?
You're making it too weird for me.
I want, you know, like the chick from The Ring with the hair. Like
oh my god, she crawls out of TV.
Or a pinhead would freak me out a little bit.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Jason, what about you?
Mine's more deep. Now I know AI wants to get to like self-thought, self-learning. I think that would be more creepy because if they get to a point where you get into a fight where you and your AI robot friend get into an argument and don't agree.
Yeah.
They could manhandle you and kill you. Now, at the same time, there are probably some fail-safes, but I think, like, to an extreme, that would kind of scare me a little bit. Like, if you did something, you got an argument with your wife, and the robot comes in and is like, no, you're wrong. She's right.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
it agrees with the wife.
Nesting that seed where you're like, oh, shit.
So,
Yeah, take it even a little farther, right? Not necessarily. She's right. I mean, that's more of a kind of a comical approach, but like if there were something that where it looked to be physically aggressive,
right?
Where,
Yeah.
right, or
Jack robot,
right? It just misconstrues, or it sees the situation, right? And as long as
get to the chopper.
Yeah,
so okay, so for me, it's always been. I always felt like robots are cool and they can get as fucking advanced as you want, but if I can't outrun it, we've got a problem.
Ooh, I know what you're talking about now. You led right into that one.
Chinese scientists, the creators of the Star One robot, bipedal robot, have just cracked a Guinness Book World Record with their number one robot. I don't know what it's called. I think it's called the Star One. I apologize. That can run over 8 miles an hour at full speed. But do you want to know how they managed to achieve it? They put a pair of shoes on it. Here is the robot doing its thing.
There are Nikes from Temu.
Yeah, there you go. I love the music.
I think they're Nikes. I think they might be.
What kind of battery is this thing have? So Darren, you're a runner, right?
Yeah, hang on. Yes.
So could you outrun this?
I'm going to be honest with you. Like, that doesn't look that fast to me, but I'm sure it can go faster. But
over a long period of time, like that might be slow at first, but you run 10 miles, that could be fast. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there's that. Now, I think I think the scarier thing for me is that, so the robot itself is 5'7", weighs 143 pounds, right? Now, you put a pair of sneakers on that thing and it starts going 8 miles an hour or 3.6 meters per second. At top speed, I'm sorry, you're not outrunning that thing no matter how fast you are. Maybe Usain Bolt, but not me. And that's a little bit scary. Like, I don't know, man.
Not scared. Just watching that, thinking, if he can do that for 3 or 4 miles, I'm done.
Yes, I'm done.
Slow. Yeah.
Yeah. Seriously, it might be even slower than that. But on sustained length, that thing's gonna outrun you if the battery's
you might be able to beat him for 100 yards, but you're done after that.
Yeah. So I saw this and I thought to myself, fuck, like, I know we talk about, AI and robots a lot on this channel, but, the previous record was actually Unitree's H1 robot, which was 7.4 miles per hour. So they've leveled up here. But listen to this, and this is according to their website. The Star One is powered by AI hardware that boasts a processing power of 275 trillion operations per second. It's 275 trillion.
So is it Intel or AMD? No, I'm just.
That's a MediaTek chip right there.
MediaTek, yeah.
It's a MediaTek.
Yeah. So
no tensors on that thing. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely not.
So that would be, just for the record, that would be the brain power of 45 to 55 of the best laptops. And it also has a 12-degree movement of freedom. So, like, the joints itself, there's a lot more mobility left and right. So that gives it a little bit more in the way of speed, I guess, because of that kind of bipedal, like, left-right motion, right? That's a little bit terrifying. I'm not going to lie. A little bit terrifying. But, they did put shoes on it, so I got to give it some props for that.
They make it more human, like, with the shoes on.
Yes, well, that's it. Right, exactly. Now,
honestly, the way that thing's running, it's not scary. It's running kind of.
Just knock it over with a baseball bat. Yeah, but when it starts when it starts going,
if it starts to run like a sprinter, it's time to go.
But
if it's going, like, I'm just gonna hear like goofy music in my head. I'm like, I can't get.
Dude, that'd be great if it was running after you and it had like scary music playing as it ran after you, like
the Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
But it's funny. Tesla has this bet where more than likely their robots were fake, being controlled by humans. Now, granted, they were very fluid. So we've got that. We got all these companies working on robots. Boston Dynamics and Toyota working together. I mean, everyone's working on robots now. So just to let you guys know, Tech Disruptors are working on a AI robot as well. We're a little behind, but we'll get there. Right now,
Evan's actually constructing it right now in his garage, and he's in his bar. He's putting together the last microchip as we speak. But now, speaking of speed, another world record set this week, Wi-Fi. So I know we talked about this last week. I think it might have been last week or the week before. We're talking about distance of Wi-Fi.
Yes.
But what about speed of Wi-Fi? So scientists at the University College of London have set a new record for wireless data transmission speed. So this is over Wi-Fi and I believe 5G. So it's a combination of radio and light technology. And they have managed to crack 1 terabit per second. 1 terabit per second.
Isn't 5G limited to a certain speed?
It's a combination, I believe. I don't know. I believe, according to this article here, from what I believe, I think this is, I don't know if this is new technology, but they're saying here it's a combination of radio and light technology. So it's currently 5G maxes out at 20 gigabytes. Wi-Fi 7 only goes up to 40 gigabytes. So they have created something here that has managed to top that milestone.
Well, it says Wi-Fi 7, but there's a new technology called Li-Fi. It uses light or something that's supposed to
I
be
believe it's a
fast
combination.
too.
Yes, it is a combination of that and I believe current cellular technology, from what I understand. So 1 terabit of data in 1 second. That's.
Do we need that speed right?
I don't know.
I know in the future we probably will. But
Yeah,
right now,
I mean, if it goes 88 miles an hour, and you know the fucking space-time continuum changes, and
well, let me give you an example. Google has this new thing where you guys know about it with the Pixel. You can do that video boost where it sends it to the servers and comes back, and people complain that they couldn't process it on the actual phone itself. Think about it. You have an AI robot who is super advanced, but a lot of his processing is done in the cloud. If you have 1 terabyte of data on that little guy, he's going to be processing pretty damn quick.
Yeah, can you imagine? That YouTube video is going to be uploaded quickly. I'm just saying.
That's true. Very true.
I mean, you won't need to use any YouTube creator tools for that to happen. You could just do that quickly and send it out there, and you'll build up some subscribers that way. But anyway, moving on. Wireless data record. Now, one last thing that caught my attention this week. Now, I was going to talk about the iPad Mini 7, but I'm just disappointed.
Boo.
I'm just disappointed. I'm not. That's all I'm going to say. And I could have talked. Now, I'll give you guys a choice here, right? I'm going to give you guys a choice. Final story. Option A or option B. Do you want to hear about the guy who made a 9-inch handheld Xbox? Or do you want to talk about Google using nuclear power?
Ooh.
I thought that first one was going a way different direction than how it started.
That's
Wait
why
a minute. I was like, whoa! I didn't know it was going to go Xbox. I thought it was going
after
somewhere
our
else.
last show, I thought
I
you
know.
were going the
Right.
same
Yeah.
No, I've already heard about. I want to hear more about the Google thing because I've already heard about this. Their little micro nuclear reactors for their data centers. Yeah, I've already heard about this already.
Nuclear data. So, Google has just signed a deal to use nuclear power at its AI data center. I am not making this story up. Please don't think I am. So, there's a company called Kairos Power, and they create these semi-small nuclear reactors. So basically, they've just signed a deal with Google, which will add 500 megawatts of nuclear power from small modular reactors.
Well, is nuclear power considered clean power?
I think that's a gray area to say the least. I want to say
Sam,
yes.
Do you know anything about? I mean, I know they say clean power is wind, solar. I mean, nuclear's got its byproducts, but is it considered more clean than coal? I mean, I don't know.
For sure. I mean, again,
Yeah, I would
remember
say so.
because the use of coal by its nature is environmentally impactful, right? I mean, no matter what, it's going and nuclear reactors have a cooling tower, right? It's cooling uranium rods essentially into a pool of water, and it's superheated water, but essentially it's steam. I mean, everybody gets all in this nuclear reaction thing, but essentially what's driving it is the fact that it's generating steam. It's basically a big steam.
Well, about the byproduct, like.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's spent fuel. There's spent fuel rods. They have a life, and you have to get them out, and they're that kind of thing. Yeah. So there is a obvious
there's a risk.
There is a byproduct of that, but but it's I wouldn't say it's as clean as solar, obviously.
Correct.
Now, can I ask you a question? This is the key question that I had when I read this. Does that mean that Gemini will get faster? Because if they're going nuclear power, I'm going to assume that's adding some extra kick to their AI models. Like, is your new Pixel 10 going to come with a nuclear symbol on the back?
So is the power the bottleneck, or is it the processing power?
No, it's so what happens is these data centers for AI driven require the computing power is so much of a drain on these grids that they can't in order to get these AI generating, and they're not into, and in quantum computing requires a lot of cold areas and all sorts of stuff, right? High end stuff, right? And you got to make them stable with the the qubits, right? But this is more about just actually powering the data center, because when they start to spin up and they add a bunch more servers and it's AI driven, the draw on a regular electricity grid, especially in these places like out in the West, it's gonna be not feasible. They're not going to be able to do it. So they're finding a way to basically power their own data centers on their own, self-sustaining.
Yeah, this could benefit us.
It could, yeah. I mean,
but I just don't think wind and all these other options, geothermal, wind, solar, right, can't generate and these aren't. They're not going to be making 3 Mile Islands outside these data centers. These are SMRs, right? So they're very. But is there always a risk of meltdown or I mean, it's always a risk. But I think the nuclear power is really the way to go. And then we just got a bad taste because of 3 Mile Island back in the 70s, right, in the United States.
Chernobyl, all that.
Yeah, it's all that.
Yeah.
Well,
a fun fact, Sam, about the Tech Disruptors podcast, it's actually Jason just on a bicycle, and he actually just pedals the whole show.
Well,
that keeps the lights on.
We talked about solar and wind.
Yeah.
Maybe we should go nuclear. Darren, you have enough room in your backyard for a nuclear
Jason.
plant.
You stop pedaling, Jason. My lights are going out. Hang on. Oh, there we go. It's back on there.
Right.
Thanks
so what we do here, Sam, is we have a nuclear plant powering our podcast, and we actually use the spent rods and bury them in Darren's backyard.
Right.
This is true.
That explains the hair. Explains that.
And the flu-like symptoms.
The flu-like symptoms. I mean, I piss fluorescent yellow too, so I don't know what that's about. But
and I just feel bad because everybody gives this nuclear thing about bad rap. But I mean, if anybody's done any research on the Chernobyl incident, like read about how the RKBMD reactors were made and not serviced and basically doing a bunch of stupid crap. It was the Soviet Union was falling apart. I mean, it wasn't exactly the bastion of engineering at that point, right? So I think we can do it in a way now that's probably a little bit more. Obviously, it's going to be what it comes down to is it's got to be cost efficient, right, and then and safe. And but
technology's come a long way.
It has.
We have moved forward from Chernobyl. I'm for sure.
Now, just one thing. I actually just got sent an email from the future. It just came through. It's actually from a Google executive saying, "Please stop talking about this." And he just attached an image, and it looked exactly like this.
I swear.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. There's a huge mushroom cloud. I don't know what to make of that. But he just sent it from the future, and it was just signed Google employee. So I don't know.
Here's the real question. Which part of a Google is this going to power now they're getting split up? I know we're not going to go into that detail.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about that.
Because I thought Alphabet solved all these problems.
That's what I thought, too.
That's not true. We can't have monopolies. And I get it. But, yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
Listen, personally, I think we should have more monopoly.
Can I ask you a question before we close out?
Yeah.
So we talk about monopolies. And there was a question asked to Tesla.
Yes,
Elon Musk.
recently. Yeah.
He said they were asking him, should he buy Rivian? Because Rivian's starting to struggle. Their sales aren't as high.
Should buy Lucid, too.
I don't know. So, is it smart? I mean, Elon's got his niche. He's got his... I don't know. I think Rivian's a different kind of company.
So, actually, I'll just pick up on that. And this is a bit of a side note, but I don't know if you guys saw this week, they released the Halloween-themed interiors of the Rivian cars. Yeah. When someone posted a video of the Back to the Future one, I almost wanted to fucking drive my car off a cliff because I would have bought it for that fucking reason. For that reason alone, I would have bought that car.
Didn't they have a Knight Rider one too? They had
there was a Knight Rider one.
And everybody's like, "Up, time to get a Rivian."
Yeah.
So I have the Tesla Model 3, which every car's got, like the Cybertruck has that big LED bar. I don't have one in my car, but they have a thing called Light Show. Yeah. And it blew my mind. Like, it's stupid.
It's like a disco.
It rolls the windows down, it plays music real loud, the trunk opens up, the charge port opens up, all the lights are blinking different colors in the inside and outside. Like, I didn't know you could even do that. And the fact that it's a party trick.
It is,
but, I mean, I don't have a Halloween update for my Tesla. The Rivian, in that respect, is kind of unique, but that's the benefit of electric cars. I guess you can kind of do those kind of gimmicky things, maybe?
Well, I solved the problem, so I just drove down my street with all my windows down playing the Back to the Future theme song at full blast for the last 2 days. And I drove at 88 miles an hour everywhere I went. So I thought that solved the problem. Yes. I mean, I have 14 speeding tickets, and obviously,
I probably should back in time.
I went back. This is what I was about to get to. I went back in time and got rid of the parking tickets and went back to when I bought my new car.
Did you buy a sports almanac though? That's the real question.
I forgot. That's what you have to go back there. It's a problem. But anyway, that actually brings us to the end of today's show. And thank you very much, Sam and Jason. We appreciate you guys being on our show. We apologize for any expletives you may have heard at the beginning of this show. I will have to make sure that I put explicit content when I upload this to Spotify. But we are the Tech Disruptors. This is what we do, people. This is why you follow and watch this show. It's so that you can get your crazy weekly tech stories, news. Sometimes we deal with controversial subject matter, and that's why we disrupt the world of tech. So if you like what you heard today, or you just want to see a bunch of us making some Back to the Future references and, dick jokes, there's that too. So you can find us on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button, and also check us out. If you're checking us out in the car on the way to work, we are on Apple Music, Spotify, Good Pods, iHeartRadio, anywhere you find good podcasts. And hit that like button there too, and don't never miss a show.
Sam at Nomad Tech Project,
and Sam at the Nomad Tech Project, and all of our other regular co-hosts all have their own little thing going on. So be sure to check them all out. They're all lovely guys. Devin he just messaged and said he has finished our AI bot. It'll be on next week's show. He said the lasers were ready, 3D printing's done. So we're excited to see what Devin pulls out next week's show, because next week we have an AI expert coming on the show. So I'm not going to say anything. We're just going to leave it at that. But it's the perfect time to talk AI when we have our very own bot on the show. I kind of hope it's just Devin with a sock and just going like this, a sock puppet. I think that would be hilarious. Devin, get on top of that. But on that note, guys, we will leave it there. Thank you very much. Have a good evening, and we will see you.